King of Crunch is back with Burnout Paradise for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. This series flipped the asphalt when it debuted. Full frontal contact was encouraged, and nothing's changed here as Paradise gets right up in your crumple zone to deliver plenty of twisted metal to your grill. But does the road remain the same, or does it feature a few new twists and turns? Burnout Paradise has been designed with simplicity in mind. With the exception of the opening screen, there are really no menus to navigate to get to all the content. You're dropped into the massive Paradise City, and then you simply pull up to stoplights to take on each race. The list of race types runs on the lean side for the solo experience. You get point-to-point, takedown events, stunt runs, vehicle-specific duels, and survival races where groups of cars try to send your ride to the scrap heap before reaching the finish line. With 120 different events to complete, simple math will tell you how often each one repeats, and after a few hours, it can feel like you're spinning your tires. As with most games that highlight crumpled sheet metal, there are no licensed cars available for play, though there are many close approximations. The stat sheet says that there are 75 different vehicles, but that number is misleading because variations of each are included in the head count. Each ride is rated in speed, aggression, and stunt ability. Cars classified as speed rides have a quirky turbo meter that has to be used all at once. Stunt cars spin and barrel roll rather quickly, and aggressive cars can take a lot of punishment. In the early going, vehicle ratings are irrelevant, but by the time you upgrade to your third license, it starts to matter. You can tap the D-pad at any time to bring up the multiplayer options, and the only real menu in the game. From here, you can call on friends to race with you in 50 different challenges that change depending on how many people you link up with. You can also create custom races and then save them for later use. The multiplayer suite is seamlessly integrated into the game and surprisingly robust. Knocking out all 120 mission objectives and unlocking all the vehicles in the single-player option will take you a long time. The multiplayer has just as much staying power, making Burnout Paradise a game that will undoubtedly give you your money's worth. Speed has always been the hallmark of the Burnout games, and nothing's changed here. The sense of velocity as you careen down the roadway is exacerbated by the plethora of trackside objects. You gradually build up your burnout meter by swerving through traffic, jumping, or otherwise driving like a maniac, and then you can unleash it for some incredible speed. Experts will be able to use the turbo to rebuild the meter, creating a perpetual burnout. There's simply no other racing game that blows you back in your chair like Burnout Paradise. Handling is forgiving, yet plenty responsive, allowing you to navigate mazes of cars at warp speed. Each vehicle has its own characteristics for acceleration, braking, and steering, and it only takes a mile or two before you get a handle on each one. The open-ended environment can be both a blessing and a curse. In one sense, it's fun to just drive around looking for shortcuts and ramps, but at the same time, the spaghetti-like network of streets and alleys can become incredibly confusing when you're trying to find the quickest way from point A to point B. You're forced to learn every last nook and cranny of Paradise City, especially for the stunt challenges where you have to keep your combo going to succeed. Speaking of which, pulling off barrel rolls and spins isn't the easiest thing. There are specific ramps that will start a barrel roll, but making sure your vehicle ends up tires down is a little more challenging than it should be. The same goes for flat spins, which are a little more forgiving. Another problem with the open world is that once you start a race and it becomes obvious you're not going to win, there's no way to restart it. You can stop your vehicle for a few seconds and the event will end, but you'll still have to drive back to the same stoplight to start it again. One thing that you can take on at any time is a showtime event. Seemingly a replacement for the crash mode in prior games, here you look for a stretch of road with tons of buses, press both shoulder buttons at the same time, and send your vehicle into a crash that can be perpetuated by tapping the turbo button. These can last for several minutes and can look outright ridiculous, yet they're incredibly fun. We would definitely take the old crash mode over this one, but what's here isn't bad. Selecting vehicles, repairing damage, and refilling turbo have been woven into the fabric of the open world as well, making sure that once you're inside Paradise City, you never have to leave. As you complete races, your license class improves, and you can use the PS3 and 360 cameras to snap your mug. The cameras are also used for snapping your photo just at the time of defeat during head-to-head play, which is a nice touch. We admire Burnout Paradise for trying new things. Not all of them work, but the foundation laid down by the solid driving and physics make it easy to overlook some things that didn't quite work out. When you're dodging bridge supports at 200 miles an hour, it's hard to get angry over having to turn around and do it again. Burnout Paradise is one of the rare cases where the PlayStation 3 was the lead platform, and then the game was ported over to the Xbox 360. It shows in some subtle ways, making it the superior-looking version of the two, but not by much. Frame rate is of the utmost importance in racing games, and both versions run incredibly smooth, no matter how much vehicular mayhem is on screen. There is still some slight draw-in here and there if you're looking for it, but considering the size, detail, and scope of Paradise City, it's certainly forgivable. Vehicles closely mimic the real thing, even if the official name isn't used, and they generally look pretty good, though not quite at Gran Turismo 5 levels. The trade-off is that the environment is much more detailed, and that was the right choice to make. The way the vehicles crumple, windshields shatter, the pieces of debris go flying in every direction is second to none, making you appreciate each and every impact. The only quibbles we have with the presentation are the absence of a driver, and one of the most annoying announcers ever.
This is Crash FM, and I'm DJ Atomica, fresh from Radio Big to be your guide to the streets of Paradise City.
Burnout Paradise plays it safe and stays right on the bumper of previous versions. The open-ended world doesn't always work, but this is one of those games that's inherently fun, regardless of whether you're attempting to make progress. Those with the need for speed or crumpled sheet metal will put it to the floor and never look back.